very good question. See, what we believe in Islam, because Stephen Law makes a cartoon out of the argument, because in Islam we don't have a Christian concept of God. We don't just believe he's just good and all powerful. We believe he's the wise, he's the one he's al-latif, the subtle, he's the one who punishes, he's the one, etc., etc. So we have a whole corpus of 99 names and attributes that we reconcile with nature, do you see? So we believe that Quran tells us God created good and evil. He created everything in the universe. So fundamentally, from a metaphysical sense, he is the cause for good and evil. But the thing is, this is the underlying supposition of this is that we're here not to have a party. That's the assumption. We're not here to have a party, have a good time. We're not here to have a boogie, yeah? We are here to be tested. And that's just the reality of Islam. And we're tested with good and we're tested with evil. And it all comes from God. And that's our theology. Now, the caricature, the cartoon of the argument is, but you say he's all good. He can't be all good because it can't be all good. I'm like, well, we don't say that, actually. We say he is good. We also say that he does what he wills. We also say that God is the one who punishes. We also say that God is the subtle. We also say God is the all-wise. If there's wisdom behind everything, therefore that's actually an explanation, if you like. If you can't see the wisdom, you can't argue from ignorance anyway. That's a logical fallacy called argumentum ad ignorantiam. So it's a very, in a way, it's a Christian concept of God. We don't have that. We have 99 names and attributes that we could reconcile with nature. But even in saying this, David Hume was the famous agnostic, right? Agnostic stroke atheist. And in his dialogues, he was discussing about, you can't even make any analogy to God, whether if he's good or evil, because he's weak. This is the reality of David Hume. David Hume said, you can't say anything about this cause. This is why he would deny the Christians and say, you can't say it's a Christian type of God. And in a way, David Hume, if he knew the Quran, he would have become a Muslim, in my opinion, because the Quran exactly says this. You can't attribute anything to this uncaused cause for the universe. You need revelation. You need the thing behind the door to tell you who it is. Anything else you say would be a weak analogy. You can't do that because it's supposed to be transcendent. Do you see? So, Stephen...
So just to continue that then, the one thing you didn't say there is if he calls all of that, the one thing that you said he is not, or you didn't say he was, is evil. Because all of the other things you mentioned, he is wise, he is good, is that if he made evil, he must have that characteristic as well.
No, we don't say that in Islam.
Then he could
okay, let me tell you something. Why does it necessitate that if God created evil, makes him evil? I don't see that is necessary. You need to show me how that makes it necessary. It's not necessary. Because then it becomes about perception as well. Because for example, as a kid, I could think my dad's evil for not giving me sweets. Yeah? I could think, you're evil, man. Therefore, you're evil. You're making me, you don't let me have my sweeties. Does that mean he's evil? But after when I grow up, so when humans grow up, when adults grow up, we call growing up death. And we get to two realities. We get the justice of God and the mercy of God. And that's going to iron out itself in the future. Do you see? So in reality, that's a good analogy to show that even the creation of evil doesn't really mean he's evil intrinsically. But our perception of evil has been used, so when we grow up as human beings, as the human family on the day of judgment, his ultimate justice and ultimate goodness manifests itself. And that's reconcilable.
We move on to a question from Dr. Stephen Law.
Can I ask you a question? Is there...
Wait for the mic.
Okay. From what I can understand, a lot of your questions concerning the knowledge of God, which every person who thinks on this knows that God's knowledge is infinite. And our minds are small, just like that glass of water. You didn't create millions of atom bombs like the sun, the solar system, your liver, your heart, and all these complicated systems and beyond our comprehension. Is there something that you could say, because you've said how God may have done this or done that, you can't understand. Is there something that you could say, well, God did this to prove to me, what would prove to you of his existence? Because that's what I'm asking you, what is it would prove to you? Because you're saying these things seem to prove of his non-existence in your mind, like the dragon, what would prove to you in your mind of his existence? For instance, you had a personal conversation and said, oh, you show me this and I know that you exist, because he's beyond your comprehension for sure.
Yeah.
In your mind, you understand, you're human, what you have to show you. Then you go, now
Well, he would, I mean, I've wheeled out a couple of the problems I have with belief in this kind of God. I mean, there are various other problems I have too. And if God, I mean, so what's going to happen? I'm going to get a voice in my head?
No,
And he's going to
personally,
say...
you tell me what it was, the sign that you know that he exists.
Well, he's got a lot of explaining to do. He's going to have to provide really pretty good explanations for why there is such horrendous pain and suffering in the universe. Of course, if he can just reveal to me that he exists in a direct and immediate way, then I wouldn't need those explanations because I would just know, because he's just revealed. But it's a kind of weird question, because in a way it kind of presupposes that there is one.
No. So, if he just gave you a direct sign from him, yeah, you would accept that, wouldn't you? You just said you would.
A direct sign?
You just said if he gave you a direct sign from him, you would accept that.
No, I said he's got a lot of explaining to do.
No. As I said about understanding, my friend, you see this container, it can't take 50,000 litres. That wisdom that we're talking about, that knowledge, your mind can't.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
But you've got something what you can understand.
There are a number of things going on here. I mean, there's an appeal to what's known as skeptical theism. Skeptical theism is, oh dear, this is a really terrible problem. It looks like overwhelming evidence that there's no God. But hey, God's really big and I'm really tiny, and in some mysterious way, it's all for the best. I shouldn't expect to be able to understand it all because I am merely like a glass of water. Right? Now, so that's a standard, skeptical theistic move. It won't wash. I mean, I could give you several really good criticisms, but here's the most obvious one, given that we've talked about an evil God. If that's true, exactly the same move can be used to defend belief in an evil God. Exactly the same move can be made, because evil God, remember, is infinitely knowledgeable and intelligent. I mean, his ingenuity, that's the right word, knows no bounds so far as maximising suffering. So, of course, so if you spot things in this world that look too good for there to be such an evil God, just remember, his intelligence exceeds yours by, a factor of whatever, infinity, if only there was such a thing. Exactly the same explanation, you see. Now it's perfectly clear that that's just a lot of evasive nonsense. I mean, the fact is there is overwhelming evidence that there ain't no evil God. And saying, oh yes, but in some mysterious way it can all be explained, I'm afraid that just doesn't wash with me. And I'm sure it doesn't wash with you when it comes to the evil God hypothesis. So the question then is, so why should we take that move more seriously when it comes to the good God hypothesis?
Sure, I think we'll move on to
Sorry,
question.
Talk to me afterwards about that. I want to hear what you think. Okay.
Questions, Hamza? The very handsome gentleman to the left.
This is a question for. Can I just question the other chap just for a second?
Stephen Law?
Yeah, because I know what you believe, but I'm not quite sure.
You?
Yeah, I know what you believe.
Okay.
You made a good case for your belief, but I don't know why you think you're alive.
Why am I alive?
No. What do you? Why do you get up every day, and what do you think long term is the purpose and the reason for you being here?
The purpose of
for you personally.
What's the meaning of it all?
For you, only for you.
For me personally.
I think we'll get to that question.
Wow.
I'll let you think for a bit.
You said you're optimistic, so what are you optimistic
So
well,
what we'll do, we'll have a question for Hamza, because that's how he's working, and then we'll get back to the question, and I'll pick you for